this isn't some hippy-dippy bullshit. You using words like polite and rudeness doesn't fucking win anyone over, okay? We're not here as fucking Woodstock attendees. We're adults. I'll swear if I think it's appropriate. I'm adult.
That's cool.
If you're a baby, then I guess this conversation won't work. We're here in New York City. What can you expect? We're just going to get it done, make sure people understand the vegan message, not let them off the hook. That's why we're here. And just, I don't know, Frank Tufano is here, he wants to have a conversation. I don't know, this is just funny to me. We're in a transitional period, you know what I'm saying? This is the period where they want to fight us, and the next step is we fucking win.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. It's amazing.
What's your name?
Paul.
Paul, you don't want to shake my hand, Paul?
No, I don't want to shake your hand.
Okay, Paul, so I am under the belief that a vegan diet is incorrect from a health perspective, from a moral perspective, as well as an environmental perspective. If you wanted to touch on any of those topics individually, one at a time preferably.
Well, I think what needs to be corrected first is what veganism actually is. And veganism, just so we're clear, is only about the animals, and it's about ending animal exploitation.
Okay.
So the environment and the health aspects are only a discussion point because don't stick the camera directly in my face, man. Put it down a little bit.
Mike?
Yeah,
This is a dynamic microphone. You have to be very close to the microphone.
Yeah, I don't want.
If you don't mind, I can keep it further away, but if you can speak up a
I
little
just
bit.
said put it down, like lower. That's all. Okay. So the exploitation of animals does impact the environment. It does impact health, but that is not the argument for veganism necessarily. So I just want to make that clear that the discussion about veganism is only about animal exploitation. The impacts of exploiting animals can lead to environmental damage or health damage, but that's not why we're out here. Those things are impacts or effects of being vegan, but they're not the basis for veganism or the argument for veganism.
Okay, so the health aspect of a vegan diet is important if you consider that there have been vegans that have killed their babies, that have maimed their children, and many young children have suffered at the hands of vegan parents. So do you think these parents need to be informed better about how to properly and adequately nourish a child on a plant-based diet?
No, because I think for every person that you just said, which was probably just made up and I don't even know what you're talking, well, I don't know what you're talking about. For every person that you say is vegan who's harming themselves or their children, I can name at least 1,000 non-vegans that are harming themselves and their babies with their diets and lifestyles. So that's why this doesn't come down to health. This is an exploitation discussion. That's what veganism is about. It's about whether we find it morally acceptable to exploit animals or not. So let me just ask you what justification or argument you have for exploiting animals. Can you answer that?
So you think it's okay for someone to miscarry their child, to kill their baby, to malnourish their child?
I just answered that question.
To have their child taken away from them?
Just answered it.
I'm not done yet. Under the condition of their moral aspect of being on a vegan diet, the reason those children were maimed, killed, or disfigured was because the parents believed in feeding them a vegan diet. This belief system that animals are more important than humans.
Frank, for every person that you say who is vegan who's harmed themselves as a result of their diet or harmed their children as a result of a plant-based diet, because veganism is not about diets, I can name at least 1,000 non-vegans who have harmed themselves with their beliefs and their diets and their children. So this point doesn't need to be discussed anymore.
You said the point of a vegan diet is it to eliminate or minimize animal cruelty, the exploitation of animals, but you're saying that it's okay for vegans to harm people because other people are harming people, essentially.
That's not what I said at all.
Well, what you said was, for every few vegans I name, you can name many other people that have harmed and maimed their children. And I agree with that. But that doesn't justify the harming or maiming of children regardless of your beliefs.
No, it doesn't justify it, but that's the point. You're clutching at straws, that's what you're really doing. You're really trying to make an argument out of nothing. I just told you that animal exploitation is at the core of veganism. That's what this is about. It's not about health at all. Do you understand that, yes or no?
I do. So you're saying that vegans don't exploit animals?
As much as practicably possible, yes.
Okay, so are you familiar with conventional agricultural practices, harvesting of both plant and animal products in any capacity? Are you comfortable talking about conventional agriculture and how crops are grown?
Yes, I am, but let me just tell you that I already know where you're going with this because I've heard it 1,000 times. I've been out in the streets for 3 years talking to non-vegans, so I just want to let you know that maybe I can save you some time and tell you that ultimately veganism, again, we need to get clear about what veganism is because maybe, Frank, you don't even understand what veganism means, okay? As much as practically possible means, it doesn't mean you become perfect and cause zero harm in your life as a human being. It's not possible to do that. If you're really promoting a zero harm lifestyle, a zero exploitation lifestyle, the result would be killing yourself. That would be the result. So that's not a practical message to promote to people. That's the only way to cause zero harm, isn't it? So my point is, being vegan is doing as much as you possibly can in this world that we live in, this modern world.
You're saying that purchasing plant foods is less harmful to animals than directly purchasing the animal product itself.
Correct.
So you are dictating that the life of an animal, I'm asking this, I'm not saying you said this, the life of a rodent, a fawn in the field, a gopher, an insect, who are you to decide the value of life and determine what you should be purchasing and what is ethically or
Who are
morally
you
superior?
to judge the value of life when you support both? You support the commercial agriculture and
No,
you...
no.
Okay, well, you only eat meat, that's it.
I purchase all of my products from a local farm in Pennsylvania. I drive out 2 hours every single month to purchase all of my food from a local farmer, and I pay out my ass for it because I actually care about the environment.
Right.
I care about morals and ethics.
I'm sure
and
you
I care
do.
about my health.
Yeah, right, okay. Do you think that's a practical message to promote to everybody?
Of course, it's not a practical message.
Okay,
but
so hang on.
Veganism
No.
is the wrong message.
Whoa, you just said it's not a practical message. So how is your message any better? What the hell? What are you talking about?
So why your argument for my message being impractical is an extra expense and spending more time sourcing your food?
No, I'm saying you drive however long once a month to go and get I'm just talking about the produce that you get, okay? The plants that you consume from the farms that are only,
Amish.
Okay, Amish, whatever. They don't use any chemicals for their growing, and they take care of the land, right? These kinds of farms are not as widespread around the world as we would like them to be. So this kind of produce is not available to the everyday person around the world. So that's why I'm asking you, just the produce end of things, is that really a practical message to promote to people that they only eat that produce?
Oh no, let me summarize
Yes or no?
my point. Is it
I'm asking you a
practical?
yes or no question.
You have to consume whatever you have access to. That is
Exactly.
better for your health, as well as
Exactly.
better from all of those aspects.
No, well, number one, what is better morally? But
Well,
I'm asking you a question where you haven't.
The morally is what I haven't gotten to yet. So
But you haven't answered my question.
let me summarize one thing. This might change the direction of the conversation.
You haven't
This is
answered
what I
my.
originally
I'd like
wanted
you to
say.
answer my question before we proceed.
When I asked you if you were comfortable talking about conventional agriculture, you have still not allowed me to present my initial point.
But you didn't answer my question. If you want this to flow, you gotta communicate properly here.
Well, you're changing the topic that
I'm
we
not.
had.
I'm not. You
So-
said it's practical. I'm saying, is it practical to promote veganism where you eat plants only sourced from farmers that are going to grow according to taking care of the land properly and using no chemicals? The right kind of farmers doing the right kind of thing when they grow plant foods. I'm saying if we were to promote veganism as along with a condition that you only eat plants from those kinds of farmers, do you think that that is a practical message in today's age globally?
My point was that even if they were grown in that method, it would still be harming animals to the equivalent that eating meat would. That's my point. So
To the equivalent? And what's your argument for that? What's your justification? How do you justify that? You're saying that planting some broccoli with no chemicals is going to cause just as much harm as a cow that you raise for 3 years and then you slice up into 1,000 pieces.
do you know how many calories are approximately in one cow?
Yeah, I know that there's a lot. What's your point?
So how much does a cow weigh approximately? Do you know?
There are about 4 human beings,
Well,
average.
what's the average weight of a human being?
Dude, they're heavy. What's your point?
Okay, so cow weighs 600, 700, 800,000 pounds. Depends on whether it's grass or grain fed. One cow, the life of one cow, can supply over 1 million calories to one person. 1 million calories. the equivalent amount of calories from plant foods, how would you actually think you would be obtaining that? What type of crops would you have to grow? What food are you going to be eating to obtain the equivalent amount of caloric nutrition, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, whatever amount of calories you need to eat per day as a vegan? It's not from broccoli.
Well, it's from all plant foods. We can get sufficient amount of nutrition from a plant-based diet, from a whole foods plant-based diet. Ultimately, what you're asking me is which would cause more harm. And what I'm saying is that even if we were to get 1 million calories from a crop, that would not cause as much harm as one cow. And the other question I have for you is, what is morally justified? How do you morally justify raising a cow knowing that you're going to slice them up into 1,000 pieces versus having some plants that you farm with the intention of only eating those plants and not harming animals?
Okay. You're saying I would be, what, cruel or not morally correct in raising an animal to kill it for sustenance?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. How would you knowingly till the land, spray herbicides, insecticides, kill hundreds, depending on what metric we're using? It's trillions worldwide, trillions of insects, rodents, deer, animals. When you till the soil and you spray insects, you spray insecticides and herbicides, kill all the insect, all the plant life that you don't want, you're killing and displacing millions of beings, without question. When that crop grows back, they multiply rapidly. Whatever animals survived, whatever insects survived, there's a new food source, so they start multiplying and growing again. And then what happens? You harvest the field, you destroy their food source, they either starve to death or are picked off by predators, and the cycle repeats itself in conventional agriculture. So how can you say that, killing all of these insects and rodents and beings is, you're basically making a decision on what's better than another? And not only that, this aspect of conventional agriculture, how these plant foods are grown, is detrimental to the environment. And compared to raising cows or any animal or biodynamic farming, there's a huge difference in the overall carbon emissions and environmental impact.
Animal agriculture is by far the leading cause of most of our environmental issues that we face right now. I'm not saying that vegans necessarily are wanting commercial agriculture for the future and beyond. We want that to change as well. It's about being reasonable though and practical. Ultimately, if you're against racism, you're not also going to go, yeah, but what about sexism? You also need to stamp that out. Yeah, okay, but I'm dealing with one injustice at a time here. And I need to make sure I address that injustice correctly. Okay. So there's veganism and then there's farming. They're two different issues. And farming is an important discussion. I'm not denying that. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about veganism, it's about not exploiting animals as much as practically possible. And if we have to buy commercial plant foods in order to avoid the exploitation of animals, that is the better option in this day and age. Of course it is.
Okay, so we're going to assume, since you're in New York City, you're purchasing food from a supermarket, correct?
I just told you everywhere, so yeah.
You're purchasing food from a supermarket.
I think you're so
and
slick.
You are detached with reality of what happens in farming, in agriculture.
I just told you what happens.
You don't want to see, you don't want
I
to
just
consume
told
the
you
meat
though.
firsthand. When
you're
you
not,
see
you're
the
not
meat,
smart. You're not smart.
When you see the meat, you think of an animal. When
Dude.
you see the plant foods, you don't think of those rats, those insects, all the displacement, the ruining of the soil. You don't think of that stuff when you look at that, I don't know, what are they
already answered your question. In this video, the viewers will know, already answered your question. You are trying to act like I'm trying to avoid what happens in in plant agriculture. I've already addressed it, mate. You're not smart. You're not as smart as you think you are.
No, I'm saying you're okay with killing rodents and insects, but you're not okay with killing cows.
Didn't say I was okay with it. Just told you earlier that this isn't about being perfect. If you're not going to have an intellectually honest discussion with me, this is over. You're being a fool. I told you that this isn't about being perfect and this isn't about causing zero harm. Are you listening to me or not? Veganism is about not exploiting animals as much as practicably possible. I've said that 3 times now. Do you understand that now or not? Do you understand that now or not? Yes or no?
Do I look that cute in this costume? Is that why you wanted to hold my hand? I'm just wondering.
Oh, really? So now you have to avert by using shit humor? You're so shit, dude. You think that as a real carnivore, you would actually wear animal skins, but you come in felt like a fucking loser, dude. You're a pussy. You're a pussy, dude. People do it way better than you. You're actually embarrassing to the other carnivore crew that do this. They did it way better than you. You came here looking like this, dude. And with those shitty arguments that I've already heard from you online, and Vegan Gains already destroyed you, and for some reason you don't feel ashamed of yourself? Dude, are you serious? And you say that you're selling local meat to people and it's not even local? And you want to act like you're trying to call me out on lies?
Hollow Creek Farm, New
You're
York,
lying.
local beef.
You're lying to people, and then you act like you have integrity, dude. You have a serious reality check you need to face. Do you have any more questions?
You're sure you want to slander a very profitable business in public space? You shouldn't have said
I
that.
was slandering you, dude. You're a liar. Go ahead. You're gonna make threats? Go ahead.
I sell local beef
Go
from
ahead.
New York on my website.
Yeah.
And you're slandering my business.
I'm slandering you, dude. You're a liar.
What
You
am I
are a
lying
fucking
about?
liar. Well, you say it's local. It's not local.
I
Go
said-
ahead and watch Vegan Gains' that video. For those who are watching right now who don't know what we're discussing, just go and watch Frank versus Vegan Gains. He called you out on everything.
Vegan Gains hasn't been making videos lately. He's too busy being depressed and shitting his pants.
Oh, poisoning the well. Poisoning the well. That's not an argument. What you just said.
What do you think of Vegan Gains blowing out his back taking a shit several months ago?
That's not an argument. What's your argument for not being vegan?
I
Is
think
it really
what-
commercial crop? Because that's ridiculous. Commercial crops is a ridiculous argument.
I think I presented the
Yeah.
conventional agriculture side and how you think it's okay to kill rodents and insects, but not.
I don't
killing
think it's
cows.
okay. I already said that. So you're
you're
showing
doing it. But
you're
you're
showing
doing it.
how intellectually dishonest you are to your viewers.
But you're still buying those plant foods and supporting that conventional agriculture.
Because that's the best option we have right now in this world. But should we be moving to agriculture that doesn't harm the earth and the animals totally? Yeah, absolutely. I just said that already. But if you think you're calling me out on, what are you calling me out on right now?
I'm asking you, so you think going to the supermarket and buying plant foods that harm these rodents, these insects, that ruin the environment, that is morally superior
Not as much
to
as
killing one animal?
Not as much as animal agriculture is ruining the environment. So how do you get off even trying to act like this is some kind of argument?
Do you know what percentage of emissions agriculture is in general in the United States?
I don't know the exact number because I'm not an environmentalist, but I'll tell you right now that it's already scientifically proven beyond any discussion or any debate that animal agriculture is harming the earth more than agriculture itself.
I'm curious, are you wearing sunscreen?
Yeah, I am.
You're wearing sunscreen. I have a question.
Oh, I'm waiting to hear it. I can't wait.
question.
Yeah.
So, if you had to obtain food in a natural environment, how would you obtain it?
That's a dumb question. I'm not in a natural environment. I'll do what I can, obviously.
No, I mean,
Dude,
my point is, whether you're consuming plants or animal foods.
What's this got to do with sunscreen?
Well, let me finish, because it makes sense. Whether you're consuming plants or animal foods, you have to be out in nature to obtain those foods, correct? If you're at a farm or you're hunting, right?
You mean in a survival situation? A
No,
legitimate...
not in a survival situation. If you were in a scenario where you had to grow your own crops or raise your own animals, you would have to be out in nature, right?
Again, is this like in a
Okay,
community,
so
in a
the
town?
The point is our modern life has allowed us to obtain food in unnatural ways. And if you need to cover yourself up and wear sunscreen and you can't even be in the sun for a couple hours in New York City.
Yeah, why did you shave?
Why did I shave?
Why did you shave your face? It's not natural, dude.
Because I don't want to look like a dirty piece of shit in the middle of New York
Oh,
City.
so you think, oh, okay, so that, this guy, man.
got a tattoo on
Dude,
your
you
neck.
shaved your face and you're standing here saying, don't use sunscreen. What? Dude, your argument is nature though, and then you shave your face and then you say, oh, I don't want to look like a piece of shit. Your arguments are fucking laughable, dude.
You do understand there are some indigenous people that didn't have facial hair? And some people don't grow facial hair, right?
And so what?
Every single
I know that you shaved your face and that's why I'm asking you.
Every single human has to be in the sun, outside in nature, to obtain food. Shaving has nothing to do with that. Let me
Your
explain this
argument
again,
was
because
your
it seems to-
argument
it
was
seems to have flown
nature
over your
though.
head.
Hashtag
No,
nature
no.
though.
That's not
And then
the
you
argument.
shave your face. Yes, it is. You said it's not natural.
The argument is that
It's literally what you said.
The argument is that in order to procure calories as a human being, you have to be out in the sun. Because our modern amenities have allowed us to use supermarkets and obtain our food without having to be out in nature.
What has that got to do with you needlessly exploiting animals?
My point is that you have to wear sunscreen and cover up because you can't even be out in the sun for a few
And
hours.
you have to shave your face because you can't live with the fact that you're ugly.
We'll let the viewers decide that one. The guy wearing sunglasses. All right, who's next? I've had enough of
End of discussion. Don't hurt your feelings. Don't worry, you get over it, baby. It's all right.
Feels like I'm feeling fucking nice today, man.
Listen, let me tell you what, I eat all types of food. I used to be a vegan. I've never been a carnivore.
You were never vegan. Vegans don't go back.
You don't know me, bro.
No, that's not what I
No,
mean.
you don't know me.
No, I think you
okay,
don't know
sorry.
veganism.
No, maybe
that's
I
what I
don't.
think.
Maybe you're not, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe if I spoke to more vegans, I'd understand it more.
Maybe,
Maybe
yeah.
you're right. Maybe the correct term now is plant-based, right?
Sure, yeah.
Right, sorry. So that's my ignorance.
No worries, okay.
It's true. You're right, man. I was never a vegan.
You did it for health, maybe.
I done it for health purely, yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, my ignorance.
No, all right, no worries.
That's what I'm saying. That's something I've learned now. You know
Okay,
what I'm
yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not a carnivore. I've never been a carnivore. I do enjoy meat.
Yeah.
I do love animals as well. It's very hard. And my point is this: I don't want to take too much time. I just hope we can have just a quick
Okay, by all
conversation.
means.
What I'm saying is that, like I say, I've just learned something from you. I've just learned something from you that veganism is more about the animals. It's not about the plants, right? I've learned something talking to you today.
Okay.
And I'd like to learn more about everything you said. Like, no disrespect, Frank. Everything you asked him, like, he had a good answer for. And like, if you're trying to make a video that's like purely, you know what I mean, like purely like carnivore, like let's get these vegans, like it's going to be difficult because he knew what he was talking about. He's educated, and I'm sure that all of these other people are too. Let's say it was a scientifically proven that the vegan diet is malnourishing. Would that change your opinion?
No.
Knowing that, like, maybe, like, let's say that will cut 20 years off your life.
Yeah. To do the right thing, you mean?
Yeah.
To end your life sooner in order to do the right thing, you mean?
I mean,
Absolutely, that's still the right thing to do. By the way, that isn't the situation we're faced with. So what we're discussing right now is a hypothetical that doesn't even need to be discussed because it's not what we're facing right now. And also, I just want to say, again, like I said to Frank, vegan diet, there's no such thing. Because
it's not diet, it's about animal, I understand.
No, but also like there's no one vegan diet. When you say what is a vegan diet, I can say I don't know because it's so different for everybody. Right. You can eat chips, chocolate and soft drink, that's vegan. You can have vegan processed foods, but you're going to feel like shit and you're probably going to get sick all the time.
Exactly, right.
So that's not necessarily a healthy way of living.
You'll hear about the animals.
That's right. And the way you want to eat is up to you. If you want to eat a healthy whole foods diet and you get all of your nutrition from the proper foods, then by all means, I recommend that personally, but that's a personal recommendation. I do agree that we should be caring for our health, of course, but that shouldn't supersede injustice.
I understand.
It shouldn't be the primary when animals are being exploited by the billions to death. If we hold that as the primary why this is happening, there's no moral justification for how we exist on this planet. How do we justify our existence?
That's what I'm saying. You made it very clear now that it's not about the diet. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And all of these carnivores.
That's all they try to harp on about because they can't.
But it's all good. I don't give a shit. What I'm saying is all these carnivores are out there talking about the nutritional factor.
Yeah. But do you know why they avoid the animal part? The animal exploitation?
That's what I'm saying. When you've got people like Vegan Gains,
yeah.
Right? You've got people like Vegan Gains and Herb Herbivore. That's what I'm saying. Like they're suckers. Even though I watch them, they're suckers because they're debating Frank. You know what I'm saying? They should be like, bro, it's not about the diet. It's not about your fucking minerals. So that's where we're at documenting this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's where I'm interested about this. I want to speak to some veganers.
What's going on?
I just want to
This guy's just wasting your time. What do you want us to do?
He knows he's factual, bro. He knows what he's talking about.
I love how you're getting angry all of a sudden.
I'm not. I just you standing here talking to him for 20 minutes. Just when we have a guy that's the party pooper. He doesn't want me to entertain you guys. He doesn't want me to talk anymore.
Is that why you're here for entertainment? That would be the only thing that you could possibly achieve is entertainment because education is not your thing.
You see these two girls right here?